In this video, I'm going to do a test or a comparison of these Olympus premium prime lenses in low light or for night photography. I posted a video a few months ago of the same test during the daylight of the three lenses, and on that video I had a comment from somebody that said, could I do a similar test but in low light or at night? And I thought, okay, I'll do it. I wasn't sure what the results or what it was going to give us, but I thought I'd have a go. I've not seen any other videos online that do quite this, so I thought, yeah, I'll give that a go and see what the results I get, and I'll share those results with you. What I aim to do is pick a composition and take 3 photos, one with each lens, and I'm not going to make the same mistake I did last time and leave the camera in the same position. I'm going to move the camera closer to the subject to make the same image, the same composition, same framing, and that will give me a better chance of trying to compare the 3 lenses. Where I had a different distances, it was really difficult to compare them, or at least the sharpness. And the other thing that I got wrong last time was I compared the outside of the image, and what I'm going to do in this video is compare the center of the lens. So I'll get right in the sweet spot of the lens, and hopefully that will tell us if there's any difference in sharpness for the 3 lenses at night. If you're interested in these highly technical review and comparison videos of camera equipment, in particular Olympus, then you might want to subscribe to the channel. And if you do subscribe, that would help me out massively and do me a favor. I'm not sure what the outcome of these tests are going to be, and I suspect that the lenses should perform equally well at night as they did in the daylight, and I suspect there won't be any difference. But I am going to try some testing. At least I'm going to test the autofocus. I'm not sure how I'm going to do that, but it'd be interesting to see which lens handles the autofocus best. I'm going to test the rendering of the background, the bokeh, to see which one provides the best background blur, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge because of the different focal lengths, so that will be another difficult thing to test. I'll test flare, I'll test aberration, and I'll test the sharpness of the images. I think they're 5 decent things that I can at least have a look at once I've taken these pictures. I'm going to try f4 because I think that's the sweetest of the sweet spots of these lenses, is f1.8 lenses. And if that's not going to give me enough background blur, I will go to f2. I'm not going to go to f1.8 because I think that although it's okay, there's the really good lenses at 1.8. I think anywhere between 2 and 4 is probably the best aperture to go with. So that's what I'm going to try. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to have a look around the Cornhill quarter where I am now in the centre of Lincoln. I'm going to try and find a composition that enables me to test all those things. Let's have a look. For this first image, I've got the 45mm lens on, and I'm going to take a picture of this sign, but I'm just going to test the autofocus. So what I think I'm going to do is, if I can do this without too much, I'll focus down on the ground, so it's focused there really low. I'll bring the camera back to where it kind of was, about there, and I'll just see how quick the 45mm does autofocus in this lowish light. Instant. It's instant. That's amazing. Now I've switched lenses and I've got the 25mm on. This is giving me 1.3 seconds. That's a bit much, isn't it? But I'm going to, once again, I do this focus test. So I'm going to focus down on the floor. Let's see if I can do it, if it enables me to do that. And then I'm going to bring it back up. It looks quite well focused anyway. Slightly out of focus. And I'm going to try that. So see how quick that focus is. Here we go. Instant. You can't really tell the difference. It's amazing. And for this third test, I've got a 17mm on. So once again, I'm going to just drop it down here, focus somewhere else. It's not really focused very much. Change the focus there. And I'm going to just go focus. You can't really, it's not a very good test with a 17mm, but I'm going to, actually, I wonder if I should do it up. Try and focus it up here. See if it changes. Yeah, it's such a wide angle lens. It's got such a deep depth of field. It's not really changing the focus. Well, I'm going to assume that that's the same. There, well, I'm going to make an assumption that that focus is just as quick as the other 3. For this first picture, I'm going to leave in the same composition. I've got this sign here. It's pointing, both sides are pointing towards that shop. Nice bit of wording we can use to see what the sharpness is like. I've got f4, 1.3, and I'm just going to press that. It should be a 2-second timer, and that's the fair shot. Now I'm going to move the camera back and try to get the same composition, the same as the 25mm. Let's see how we do. This is the second image, 25mm, 1.3 seconds. F4, ISO 200. I'm just going to go for that. Now, fairly similar composition, not quite exactly the same, but close enough, I think. Now I'm going to get the 45 on. So now I've got the 45mm lens, f1.3. I've got f4 again, all exactly identical settings. They're identical lenses, apart from the focal length. And I'm just going to go with that one then and see. We'll see what that's the third one. Here it comes, 2-second timer. People are coming in my picture. They're all out of focus or possible to be. I'll take it again because they've got people in the background. And there you go, that's the 3. Now I'm going to look for some a bokeh, see if I can find a picture where I can get some nice background blur. For this bokeh test, I've gone 1.6 seconds f4 again. I'm going to focus on the top of this pillar, and you can see all those lights in the background. I'm hoping they're going to be all blurry in the background. And let's see, 2-second time, let's see what they look like. Here's 25mm, because I have got closer to the pillar. It looks a bit bigger in the picture. That's just tough. F4 again, 1.6, and I'll take that one. And then I'll put the 17 on. Yeah, well, let's give that a try. Same again, and now final lens. Now the pillar is huge in the frame. Look at the size of that. But once again, same setting. I've obviously gone something wrong there. Maybe it's because I'm closer, it's giving me a 2 seconds. Seems to be changing. Look at that. I'll go for 3/4 2 seconds. Doesn't matter. I'm on a tripod. 2-second timer. Let's see how that one looks. Fingers crossed. Just a couple of seconds. And that's our final image. So I'll have a look at that on the back of the camera, and we'll see what that comes out like when I get back. That's my test shots taken. Now it's time to get home and have a look at those images in Lightroom and just see how they compare. I'm back home now, and before I jump on my computer and have a look at the images, I've got to mention the autofocus test, especially the 17mm lens, which was a shambles really because it was out of focus. I couldn't really show you the quality of the autofocus on the 17mm. Not only was my video camera out of focus, but of course I didn't really get close enough to the subject to be able to do that test properly. But the 2 that I did manage to test, the 45 and the 25, they were fine. Their autofocus was lightning sharp, and I think you need some sort of technical instrument to actually work out if either one was sharper or quicker than the other. And yeah, for that reason, I'm going to call it a draw between those 3 lenses. Now let's have a look on my computer at the pictures I did take. Here's the images. I've got the first 2 in Lightroom side by side. This left-hand side is 17mm and the right-hand side is a 25mm. And I'm quite pleased with the fact that I got the images fairly similar. I've done a little edit or auto edit. All I've done is an auto edit. I brought the highlights down and I brought the whites down, just so that it doesn't look annoying and it's got all these blown out highlights. On the face of it, these 2 images look pretty identical. There's almost nothing to tell between the difference between them. There's no flare at all. I can't see any flare. I did use the lens hood on the 70mm. I had to hold it because it doesn't fit, even though it's the same size lens. But so I did use the hood, and whether it did anything or not, I'm not sure. But there's no flare. Let's have a look, actually. I'm going to look in the middle of the images, and I'm going to have a look here at, look at both of them to see if there's any sorts of fringing. There's a little white line there, a little light white line there. I can't see any colour, no colour fringing at all. So that's good. No flare, no fringing. They look fairly similar as far as the quality of the sharpness of them. And let's have a look at all these letters to see if there's any difference. So the 17mm looks a little bit softer than the 25. I'm not sure why that would be, but it does look a little bit softer. So for me, that I'm going to give that to the 25mm. That's soft as well. Like maybe I've got my focus wrong or something, but because that's not that. Yeah, it's definitely softer. So I'll have to have a look at that because that's definitely not a very good sign, is it? Yeah, maybe it was my focus point, but yeah, definitely from afar they don't look any different. But when you get close up, 25 looks better. I'll put the 45 up against the 25, and once again, it's a fairly similar image. And let's have a look here. Yeah, the sharpness is fine, but compared to the 25, the 25 does seem to be slightly more contrast than the 45. So once again, I go with the 25 there, but effectively the rest of it, sharpness-wise, it's fine, isn't it? Look at that. Look at all these little bits and pieces. This is pretty much, I've gone for the middle. It's pretty much the center. Look at that one. That's right in the middle of the frame. There is, yeah, they look identical, apart from as I said, the contrast. It seems to be darker on the 25. That's, yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the tests that I was going to do for those. So I'm going to say, unfortunately, the 17mm wasn't in focus very well. So unfortunately, that's given that a bit of a bad mark. But I'm gonna say that 25mm is slightly better than the other two. The contrast is better. It's super sharp. It looks good. The other test I did was the bokeh, the background rendering. So let's have a look at that. So this is the 45mm and this is the 25mm. And just looking at the background just generally, this is f4 and they're both really quite out of focus. Obviously, I was focusing on a reasonably close object. But when you think about can micro four thirds blur the background? Well, it's just, there's no question, is there? The backgrounds are blurred very nicely. Let's see if we can pick some bokeh out, and let's go down here. So this is the bokeh here. Looks all right. It's nice. It's nice and white. It's bright. Look at the bokeh down here. It's very similar. Very similar bokeh. I would say I don't know why this is, but it's a slightly darker on the 25mm, and it's there's a bit more form to it in shape. You can see obviously the roundness of it, and whereas this looks it's a bit soft edges. So yeah, but both got really good background rendering, and I'm gonna say, of these two, I'm gonna give this to the 25 again. Although let's have a look at sharpness. I can tell if it's sharp or not. Let's have a look, see what I can see. So these bits, actually, the 45 looks slightly sharper than the 25. Interesting, because not sure why that is, but that's what that looks like to me. So yeah, because of that, well, we're looking at background rendering, so I'm going to give the marks to the 25, but this 45 looks sharper, which is an interesting test. So I'll leave that 25 on, and I'll just stick the 17 on here. As you can see, the 17 is so much bigger, the pillar in the image. But once again, as you'd expect, this is really soft because I'm really close to this pillar, this post, and it would make the background much softer, which it is, and that's why that's sort of blown out. And that's got a bit of fringing on that where it's overblown, but where this hasn't. But yeah, they look quite good. It's really soft background. That's really soft background. Let's have a look at the sharpness on this. That's actually sharpish, isn't it? So that's not too bad. It's hard to go, oh yeah, we can compare it. Here's the same pieces by the look of things. And these look, they're actually, the 17mm looks more sharp than the 25, which is interesting. That's a bit strange, but maybe that's why the 45 did look sharper, because maybe I'd got something wrong on the 25. But for this one, as far as background blur is concerned, because I'm really close to the subject, I'd say the 17 was better for the background blur, but I would say I prefer the bokables for the 25. Yeah, there you are. There you have it. So I've tested all the various things, autofocus. I've tested the flare, the rendering. tested the sharpness and the fringing. And based on the nighttime tests, they're all very, very similar lenses. However, I think the 25 just shades it out of the two of them. And I didn't give the 17 the credit it deserves because I probably did some things wrong when I took the picture of the 17. But that might be just part of it. It might be why it's like it is. So that's where that's my opinion. So if you're interested in any of these lenses, based on this test, I would say go with the 25, 45 or 17. I don't think it makes a lot of difference between the three. But if you're really stuck and want that decision, this tells us the 25 is the one to go for. Thank you very much indeed for watching this super scientific, well, not brilliantly scientific test or review of these lenses. I hope it's been interesting. And if it has been interesting, go on, give it a like. That'd be brilliant. And as I said before, if you like this sort of stuff, these tests, these camera reviews, these lens tests, then subscribe along, join in the fun, and hopefully you can see more of my videos, and that would be awesome. Thanks very much again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.